Today, I'll be talking about some rookie quarterbacks and also got some breaking news. Hey, what's going on? I am Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today we'll be talking about Zach Wilson and how he compared to the other rookie quarterbacks. Before we get started today, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY if you haven't already. You could also subscribe to the Just Jets podcast and check out the Just Jets Clips channel where I post little snippets of each show over there. So definitely worthwhile to check out. Please subscribe and review. Really helps me a lot, and I appreciate the love and support. So what I wanted to do was talk about, Zach Wilson as a rookie and how he compared with Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and Mac Jones, the other rookie quarterbacks who were taken in the first round that played. Trey Lance did not play, and I hinted a little bit at the breaking news. And if you saw on Twitter or Instagram, that's if you're not following me there, you should, number one, to keep up with, all my Jets content over there. But I posted a little bit of a cryptic message. It was a little countdown. There was a little flash, and then it said the date, February 13th, 2022. Now, that's Super Bowl Sunday. So what the heck do I have going on Super Bowl Sunday? Well, I am relaunching and revamping the Patreon. So what am I doing on the Patreon? Well, there's this one thing that I like to do, or that I've started that I'm super excited about, and it's called Jets Analytics. And essentially what I'll be doing is making player cards for every qualifying player. And what I mean by qualifying, so like everyone who statistically is in this proper range or data set will be available for you to watch. So like Zach Wilson, I'm using the examples when comparing Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and Mac Jones of what these cards are going to look like. I have 35 qualifiers. So like Michael Pirine doesn't have a player card because he doesn't have enough statistics to put him in the qualifiers for, the running back position. But you have Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, Ty Johnson, wide receivers. You have even Denzel. I'll tell you what, Denzel Mims has a card, and it's not a pretty looking card. Braxton Berrios has a card. It's pretty good looking, but it's not $9 million good. So I'm going to get into all that in a second. And again, like I said, it's something I'm really excited about. So we're going to talk about that more, and we're going to loop these cards into the videos, and there'll be some other perks on the Patreon and that I'll get into later in the week, but just kind of wanted to show off these cards today and do this video on the rookie quarterback. So let's talk about it. Where did they finish? So comparing the four, completion percentage, obviously Mac Jones was the best. He came in at 67.6%. Then Lawrence at 59.6, Fields 58.9, and Wilson 55.6. Yards, a little bit different. They didn't all play 17 games. Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence did. Jones is at 3,801 actually. Lawrence 3641, Fields 1870. And Zach Wilson's 2,334 yards. Passing touchdowns, Mac Jones led the way at 22. Trevor Lawrence at 12. Really low number. Obviously, Justin Fields, 7. Zach Wilson, 9. Interceptions, Lawrence had the most at 17. Jones had 13. Wilson, 11. Fields, 10. Yards per attempt, Mac Jones was the best. I mean, that's kind of what we're going to get at here with yards per attempt rating and QBR. Mac put up the best numbers out of any of these rookie quarterbacks. And, we're going to get into some of the comparisons in between them. So I guess first we'll start by looking at Zach Wilson's card. So we'll pull that up right now. So these are what these cards are going to look like, by the way. And each player is going to have different sets of stats depending on what position they play. And I'll explain a little bit why you're seeing them in percentage. So essentially what this means, this is putting Zach Wilson in the percentile of where he ranks in these categories. So QBR 5.4. So he was, that's where he falls there in that ranking field. Obviously, he's struggled. He's very bad throw percentage. You see him worst in the league. On target was low at just 2.7 percentile. Net yards per attempt was low as well. Yards a little bit higher, 21.6. Interceptions, 21.6. These are going to go up QBR range, I mean, his QBR was 28.1. Passer rating was 69.7. And again, I'm not claiming that this card tells the entire story. It's more of just data visualization and a tool to use. I'm not someone who comes out and is strictly an analytics person and doesn't put any value in the eye test or the tape. I don't think that's smart, but I also don't think it's smart to just completely ignore analytics or numbers. So I kind of just wanted to add something a little bit different to the channel and to the content, and the Jets cards is a part of that. And comparatively, like, you could pull up Trevor Lawrence now, we'll get into. His numbers aren't much better. The only place where he's pretty good in the green is with yards at 56.8 percentile. So he's above average in passing yards this year. Bad throw percentage was 13.5, on target 8.1. Interception percentage, was not great at 27%. Touchdowns just 2.7. It's just it was a tough year for Trevor Lawrence, but I don't think Trevor Lawrence is a bust. I don't think it's fair to classify him as that, nor do I think it's fair to classify Zach Wilson as a bust. And that brings us to our next guy, Mac Jones, who you're going to see a lot of green here. He obviously very much so had the best year. QBR, 56.8 percentile. Passer rating was up around 59. Completion percentage really thrived, 81.1 percentile. So he's one of the better completion percentages in the league. Right around average, most of his numbers come in at, which the difference, or I guess the comparison that I want to make here, and I have more things that I want to get into in this video, is with Mac. I think when he came in, and especially at his age where he is at 23 years old, and he's kind of close to where I think his ceiling is going to be. Like, I don't necessarily know if there's a lot of room for him to get better, where these other quarterbacks, trait-wise, with Lawrence and Wilson and Fields, they put more wow throws on tape, where Mac Jones feels like a little bit more of a passenger, I guess. But again, he went into the best situation possible, where you have best head coach in the league, a team with a great infrastructure, and sure, their wide receiver room isn't phenomenal, but they have weapons. They just spent a bunch of money in tight ends and free agency, and again, it's a great organization, like it or not. Like, it hurts to say that as a Jet fan, but I think we have to admit the New England Patriots is probably the best spot, or one of the best spots, for a young quarterback to land, and he came in and played really well in his first year. And for Justin Fields, I mean, there's a lot here that doesn't look great. Yards per attempt, almost in the average range at 40.5, but completion percentage low, QBR very low, bad throw percentage low. And to me, this kind of just shows where the other three were put in rough spots, really. And again, comparatively, like Wilson with the Jets, he won 2 games the year before he got here. Justin Fields got hamstrung by Pace and Nagy. That just not a great organization. And the Jaguars, I mean, what else do you possibly have to say? But what are some of the positive takeaways from this? Well, for me, it's Zach going 5 games at the end of the year in a row without throwing an interception. It's, in comparison, him only having 2 multi-interception games, where guys like Mac Jones had 4 in 18 games, mind you. He did play in the playoffs and had 2 picks in the playoff game, but the 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions in the 7 games after returning from injury. Some of them, obviously, a lot of them rushing. We need to see his passing touchdowns begin to go up a little bit more. But comparatively, again, Mac is far and away the best statistical one as a rookie. I don't think, based on what Fields did or what Lawrence did, that Zach's not in the same conversation with them. And I don't think anyone should be out on these quarterbacks after 1 year. I mean, for Fields, the games against Pittsburgh and Minnesota were impressive. Lawrence finished strong against the Jets in week, 16, I guess, and Tennessee in the last, not Tennessee, no, what the heck was it? The Colts, in the last week of the year. They played the Colts. But there were some really ugly clunkers in there earlier in the year, and he went an 8-week span with just one touchdown. Just one. I feel like that was barely talked about, where if God forbid that happened to Zach Wilson in New York, in the biggest media market in the world, that would have been a major, major issue. And I just feel like he's under much more of a bigger microscope because the LOL Jets is funny. Same old Jets. They love to stick it to him like that. And people care more about the Jets and their failures than they do about Chicago or Jacksonville. They just do. Like, sure, Matt Nagy still having a job was a joke. Urban Meyer still, all that nonsense was a joke, but it's not amplified because it's not in the biggest media market in the world. So, yeah, out of all these 4 quarterbacks, Mac Jones has to be one. And then outside of that, I mean, pick your poison. I would say probably Fields and Zach are close and Lawrence a little bit behind those two, but I don't think I'm ready to say that I think Mac Jones is going to be the best quarterback from this class. I don't think that based on, what we saw, Fields, Lawrence, Wilson are bottom 3 quarterbacks in the league last year. I don't think that's where they're going to be for their entire careers. I think the potential is too high there, and I kind of just want to see things play out. But let me know your take on this year's quarterback class, or I guess last year's quarterback class and this year's rookie quarterbacks. Are you out on any of them? Do you think that they have a future going forward? What do you think of the player cards as well? Let me know. These will be available, like I said, on Super Bowl Sunday, where you'll be able to subscribe, have access to all these cards, and you'll get write-ups on different players and free agents when they sign. You'll get cards for them. In the draft, that's something else that I'm going to begin working on in the draft process, is giving you these cards and information. So it was a lot of fun to make, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm excited about it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe if you're new. I'll talk to you next time.